We're in Moreton Bay in Australia, and we're trying to get south down to Sydney Harbour, 420 miles away. The weather, however, has not been cooperating, and we need to take every little northerly wind that we can in order to make progress down the coast. Cool, flying along.
As ever, we're driven by the weather on Florence. A period of strong winds had us scurrying for the shelter of the islands in the south of Moreton Bay. Once there, we battened down the hatches to wait for the forecast bad weather to blow through.
When the weather's like this, we haul up on board, put the kettle on, and catch up on boat jobs and video editing. The strong winds have gone through, so we're just making our way down to Jumping Pin Bar. There's supposed to be a nice anchorage down there.
The whole bottom of this lagoon is covered in tiny little crabs. It's like a moving carpet of crabs. But you can't get close to them, they just leg it whenever you come anywhere near.
It's like a child chasing seagulls. These soldier crabs emerge from the sand a few hours before low tide and sift algae and small organisms out of the sand to eat. They leave tiny balls of processed sand in their wake, and then they rebury themselves before the incoming tide and wait for the tide to go out again. There are supposed to be wallabies on this island, and I've just spotted some tracks. This has got to be wallaby poo. It's like giant rabbit poo. Everywhere. Check out these dunes. This area is mainly made up of sand islands and mangroves. The islands are sparsely populated by humans, which makes them a great haven for wildlife, including one of our favourites, the pelican. We love watching these wise-looking birds. A bit further down the island, we finally found some wallabies. Very cute. I'm sure that the locals don't find them so fascinating, but they're so different to what we're used to at home. We love watching them.
We carried on down the sheltered channels behind Stabroek Island towards the Gold Coast. As we wound our way south through the narrow channels, we came upon more and more boats, an indication that we were getting closer to the Gold Coast.
Thankfully, the wind direction changed, allowing us to turn off the engine and start sailing.
Sovereign Island here is full of houses worth millions of dollars. It's strange though that most of them seem empty as we sail past.
You can tell we're getting close to the city. It is crazy busy.
We only made a brief stop on the busy Gold Coast to stock up with food, fuel and water because a weather window had appeared to allow us to sail south towards Sydney. Northerly winds have been few and far between recently, so it was an opportunity we could not afford to miss. Maybe we'll have more time in this area on our way back north.
We sailed out through the Southport Seaway, leaving the calm, sheltered channels behind and heading back out into the open sea, with Sydney 400 miles away to the south of us.
How you feeling, Amy?
Not brilliant. It's a little while since we've been out at sea and I'm not feeling so good.
It's quite a gentle rolling motion.
Yeah, more like a wallowing.
The joys of sailing. Well, thankfully the wind's picked up, so we've managed to put the spinnaker up and we've been moving along nicely most of the afternoon. We've been really helped by the East Australian Current. Research for the East Australian Current consists of mainly watching Finding Nemo. It's the current that they surf all the way down the coast of Australia, and it is really helping us out at least 2 knots. Although the wind's dying, you can hear the sails slamming. We're actually still doing 7 knots, and we've been doing 9 knots at times, so we're making a really rapid track down the coast. It's great. You can just see the turtle which is following us in the current.
It always seems that when one of us is feeling rubbish, dolphins always turn up to cheer us up. It's impossible to feel bad when you have the spinnaker up and dolphins playing in the bow wave. How's it going, Matt?
Well, this wasn't in the plan, wasn't in the forecast. It's blowing 25 to 28 knots. And we're going upwind, and we're supposed to be going downwind in 8 knots. We can't get into Shelter because there's a bar at the river entrances and it's the wrong state of the tide. So we've got 3 options. 1, we can try and sail through it, carry on going upwind. 2, we can slow down, kind of heave to. Or 3, we can turn around and run with it back to Shelter, about 50 miles back up the coast to Coffs Harbour. So at the moment we're choosing to just slow the boat right down so that we're not leaping over the waves, look after the boat, look after us, and kind of just hold position and hope that it blows through. But it's about to get dark. It always seems worse in the dark.
Not only are we going upwind now, but the wind is blowing against the East Australian Current, which is running at 4 knots here. So we have 25 knots of wind against 4 knots of current, which creates horrible short, sharp waves, which funnily enough are not making me seasick. You can tell that it's not been a particularly enjoyable passage when the two of us are willing to turn the engine on and motor sail in order to get into the port before dark.
They say weather forecasting is the only job where you can be wrong 90% of the time and still keep your job. Normally they're pretty good, but the weather did not go to the forecast of this trip at all. So we're very glad to get there and drop the anchor. Bit rolly.
Yeah, a bit rolly. Today we've had the spinnaker up. Genoa pulled out. We've been beating, we've been reaching.
Running. We've been motoring when there's been no wind. Bit of everything really. In about an hour and a half we'll be there. And then we'll be sleeping.
Having a shower and then sleeping.
Yeah, apparently I smell really bad. It's been too rolly for 3 days to have a shower. That's my excuse anyway.
Dolphin! Did you hear that? Super cute. Oh, there's the baby! There's the baby! We're sailing into Port Stephens. This is an easy place to come into, as it doesn't have a sandbar to cross. But we still prefer to come in to a new place during daylight if we can. Port Stephens is larger than Sydney Harbour, so once in through the heads, there'll be lots of options to where to anchor.
Just after we anchored, another thunderstorm closed in.
I am very glad that we're not still out there. Instead, it's nice and cosy in here, and we've got Thai green curry for dinner. Whoa! Actually able to eat out of a bowl and put it on the side. It is gross out there. I had a really good sleep, a really good breakfast and a shower, and now I feel like a whole new person.
It's a really calm day today, so we're going to go ashore, see if we can find some koalas.
so much wildlife here that we wouldn't normally see. It's awesome. Whoa, your toenails could do with a trim, mate.
But if I was a koala, I'd like to live here. I haven't seen any yet.
On another day, we did eventually find some koalas. They're so chilled out and laid back, they have to be our favourite Australian animal.
Next time we finally make it to Sydney Harbour and sail past the Opera House under the famous Sydney Harbour Bridge.
If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, please still give it a thumbs up.